In the last part of this module, we will create a location using Quixel Megascans. I will try to be quick there because we already grasped all of the necessary information. So I don't want to waste your time anymore. So let's just create quickly this location because it's quite simple, and something out of these AI generated images for the references. Some of them I actually used for like my research and development when I tried to recreate some Volvo commercial. That's why it's like looking like Volvo cars almostly. So this is the just like the R&D which I used. I think we'll go with something like that afterwards with Porsche. But let's first recreate this location quickly and see what we can get with the Quixel Megascans. For that purpose, I will create new level. Again, I would like to get the empty level, create this one. We will create first some directional light, and I will be lighting again with HDRI because I believe HDRI just like gives really this nice vibe, and you are able to get really nice reflections on the car glass using HDRI. So let's go first with the unlit mode. Let's add directional light, add HDRI backdrop, and something just like to play around, so we will have something there in the scene. And if we put just car for test, we'll use it again the Polestar, this one. Okay, so that's quite fine. First, let's get to our Quixel bridge here. Again, if you experience any problems with the Quixel bridge being like super laggy and unresponsive, it means that your frame rate, like I'm having 144 megahertz monitor, which is like with a high refresh rate. So, but this one, for example, it works really in 60 FPS. I don't know why. So use the T-Max 60, T-Max FPS 60 for this. Okay, so we are going to explore 3D assets. There are a lot of them. They're just like huge bunch of them, just like amazing amount of all the 3D assets which you can get from the Quixel bridge. But we would like to get something like that, right? So there is like natural, and you can see it loads like some of the natural 3D assets which you can get, but there's also like some sort of collections which are pre-made for you. But also what I would like to do is like also to go to collections, environment, natural, because you can have the renders which are already prepared with the assets which this collection contains. So I think we will go with the shrublands, as shrublands is just like, it looks quite similar. Maybe the color is a little bit off, but still that is like really fine. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I have downloaded multiple assets like this. They're all huge. You can see a person there. Well, you can't. If you click on that, there's always a reference to the person. What is the size of this asset? So if it's like big boulder or rock, it should be huge. But if it's like enormous, there's like small guy standing here. You can't see him because the size of this asset is huge. But anyway, you can get the reference. So we need something big to cover a lot of like wall here, basically create the wall. I believe still those pictures have a lot of compositing and color grading, but we'll try to match the look. And I think this one is just like matte paint, like in front of there, could be because it's like super detailed and looks almost like a photo. I didn't find any like sort of 3D model for that in the Quixel Megascans. So yeah, but we will create something similar close to this, but you need to understand that the quality of the 3D model really gives the feeling. The better it looks, the better. So the more polygons it has. So for such views, for such sort of shots, I would really recommend you using nanite quality. So when you download nanite, yes, it takes more space on your disk, but the complexity and the fidelity of the details for these assets are much better. They just look really nice, really detailed, and sometimes you can't even like tell the difference if it is like, what is it, some sort of like photo, or like really it's super high quality. It's really hard to distinguish whether it's not 3D model or a photo. So anyway, I have already downloaded that with this nanite quality. Not all of them have nanites. So yeah, I downloaded most of them in nanite, and when you add them, you have this Megascan folder 3D assets, and if you filter by static meshes, they will be there. So they are added on the project, and I can open them, and like you see, it's really high quality. The fidelity of details is just insane. If you're looking on that from 1 meter, it's really just mind-blowing how good is that. Obviously, like in very close up, because this model is huge, like compared to a person. So they thought like, okay, you will not be looking at that like this, right? But if you have some model which is smaller, I have some rocky ground or something like that. Yes, rocky ground. Rocky ground will be looking much better, because you'll be able, to look at that closer, because it's like up to knee high. So yeah, those are much more detailed. Anyway, first I would like to create some basic shapes in which our let's delete this one and increase the size of the HDRI to 700, so it will affect our lighting scene. So I want to create some boulders, like, or platforms, just like in the reference. They're just like some platforms which are standing there. Obviously, if you have any sort of experience like in 3D modeling, like I don't, to be honest, like I do very basic stuff with the 3D or modeling. So if you have any like experience, you can create those platforms by yourself, and that would be probably easier. But here we go with the purpose of that one. So if you even don't have any experience in 3D modeling, you will be able to create nice visuals in Unreal. So let's place our car. I even won't turn it anywhere. So let's compare the size of those platforms. They're just like, there should be another one. So yeah, approximately a little bit bigger. Let's make the scale here like that. Yeah, I think this is fine. So I'll just duplicate them, just move around. I would like to have a small gap between them, so we will have the feeling that it is actually like, having some like separation there. Doesn't matter if the gap is big or not. I really just don't want to align them perfectly for the sake of the time saving on the tutorial. Okay, like that. Probably that is enough. Let's move the car somewhere over here. As you notice, there is a stairs, and how we create the stairs, we're not going to, do it like this. It's like really strange way to do that. So again, we will go to our modeling tools here, or by pressing Shift F5, and we can just create stairs there. Stairs, place it. Let's rotate it a little bit. Let's lock the rotation angle, so it will be going in like this. And let's count number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically 6 steps. There are also different like types of linear, like curved, like spiral, whatever you want. But we just need this linear. Probably this one is really narrow, I think. Like maybe 2 meters. So let's set it to 2 meters in width. Step 8. We can actually make it a little bit lower. Like maybe 15 centimeters. I think that is just fine, just enough. Let's place it somewhere over here. Oh, there is like a small platform before that, but doesn't matter, to be honest. Like we can move it anyway. So let's hit accept, take this basic shape for now, apply that. Now we need to make a tunnel. So I'll again create right now the box, place it here. Let's actually place our box somewhere nearby the stairs. Should have kept the position because right now it's not going to be precise, but doesn't matter. So our depth should be, oh yeah, that should be also rotated by 90 degrees or minus 90 degrees. So let's make it like 250 in width. I'm not sure if that is that wide, but I just like to keep it like this. And 5 meters in height. Maybe even higher, just because the car is just like standing there and we will be looking from this angle sort of, and that really needs to go somewhere really high. So let's make it even 6 meters tall, and the depth like maybe 10 meters, right? So it's just like going deep inside like this. Probably we got that aligned maybe a little bit like that. So I hit accept. Also I will use this one and apply it here. Right now I will duplicate this one by holding Alt, move it a little bit lower, and now I need to make it less wide, so like this. So that will be our like door, maybe even lower. It's just I think too high. And with that kind of thing we can do again the boolean. So model boolean, and this is what we get there. Probably we can make it a little bit even more narrow. So let's cancel that, make it a little bit, maybe even less, like this. And let's select again and do the boolean. Anyway, we can make the stairs a little bit wider any time we want. So I think that looks pretty fine, except this one. Maybe move the stairs and make it a little bit wider, like this. Okay, pick both of those objects, move here, place it nearby the center of this platform, just like that, and I will duplicate this one too, making it like a small platform which is leading to our stairs there. So what I'm trying to prove that copycatting is not something that you should be ashamed of. First, you need to get the experience, trying to recreate the environments which you see or which you like, because I can guarantee you that the most automotive producers, they want like car brands, they want to see like really nice environment, simple, minimalistic, and which will not be distracting from the car, so you'll really have the nice view of the car. So this one is done, and let's put something on the ground from our Megascans which we have filtered by static meshes, the huge Icelandic whatever volcanic rock it is. Let's place it here, and probably we'll increase the size of that like that, so we can have something like, oh my god, I just didn't pick it in the center. So we can have something like this. It's looking a little bit, I would say, off, but we can always adjust the angle and the position. Anyway, we're not gonna see a lot of that, so let's move it here. We have nice rocks here, already looking good. There's something in the scene feeling there. Let's probably add lights, directional light, and just disable the HDRI for now, and add the skylights with the sky atmosphere. It just distracts me a little bit. Visual effects, sky atmosphere. Okay, and skylight, real-time capture. Okay, now we have some sky happening. The rest of that we're pretty much done. Let's just make the thing here. Just make it a little bit bigger and align it with the last step of the stair. Put it like this and connect it. Or if you'd like, you can make your last step of the stair. As I said, this preview doesn't matter. You just can pick direction light and change it to movable to get rid of this. Okay, that looks good. I think fine. Next step, we just need to add some enormous, huge rocks there, which will be our wall. So just place it here. I think it's just like too big. Let's scale it down a little bit, like that. Don't want that to protrude inside, so let's move it. But you see there is like a small problem, right? So we can see something happening there. I don't believe that it's a big issue. You can put there is some shape, cube, just put it behind it, make the size like that. Maybe you can even tilt it a little bit here. So our thing here, we just need to, patch this a little bit. So the easiest way to do is just take this material, which you have here, and apply to this cube, and nothing to worry about. That will have the same color and will be covering this thing. Oh, actually, what we need to do here is just to put this one down as it should be touching the ground here like this, right? This one. This is really nice because not like gaming, with this thing, with the cinematics, what is like really the best part, that you are in control what the user sees or the viewer, because in the game you have the interactive environments where you need to interact with it. You should be blocked from going somewhere that player doesn't need to go, or there's like nothing. And in cinematics, you are in control of what you are showing to your viewer, so you don't have to worry if there is something outside of the frame which you don't want them to see, and how it is done, it just like really doesn't matter. Only result matters. Here we go. There. Static mesh. What we also have here. Oh, some interesting thing. Looks really detailed, like high quality details. We can put it. The thing also with nanites, it's really so complex geometry. It has so much details. So when you merge like and blend them between each other, you can't actually tell where one model ends and where the new one begins. It's just like blending in so good that you can just literally combine them and it will look really, really nice. Okay, so there. Oh yeah, this one I like. This one is really, really good. Just let's scale it down. Put it here. Maybe a little bit bigger. Like this. You can do whatever you want like that. Who cares? Just play around. You can actually pick any other assets from the Quixel bridge, like any natural environment. You can go with this Nordic coastal cliffs. Doesn't matter. The only thing that matters, it should really be from the same package, so it will have the same color and it will blend really, really nice between each other. So I want to make a little bit like sandy slope here, like this. Put some over there. And this one I'll just use as the blocker. Maybe even scale it down just a tiny bit. That will be my blocking. So it will be dark inside. We'll see if we can actually see that one. Okay, now I think this one just enough for now. Let's add a post-processing volume. Visual effect post-process volume, make it unbound, infinite extent, and let's go with the lumen. Lumen quality all to maximum, final gather, everything. Quality of the reflections on the maximum. High translucent, high quality. See how that makes a difference. Like, look at that. High quality translucency reflections. That's what I was talking about. It's really, really important setting. Bam. How much of a difference it is. Really, like, really, how good that looks from, and it doesn't require ray tracing. But if you want more bounces, like better high quality reflections, then it will require ray tracing. So one means a single reflection, so there's just like no reflections and mirrors and stuff. But if you would like to increase this one, that would be actually like requiring ray tracing. So I think on the RTX GPUs that will work, but on GPUs like GTX that will not work. So pay attention to this. Lumen high quality translucency reflections will affect your performance, but at least it will not, require ray tracing. But look at the difference. It's just massive. It's insane. So, okay. We've put everything like on the maximum here, all just max. We don't need like super thing. And right now, let's delete our skylight, sky atmosphere, and add our HDRI backdrop. Put it a little bit down here, doesn't matter, and make the HDRI backdrop size 700, so it will light our scene, right? Looking good. Let's create a couple of folders to organize our thing. So this folder will be lighting, and all of those, like our geometries, we'll put into another folder and name it geometries. Okay, so hide this one. Direction light goes here, post-processing volume also here, and boolean also to geometries. Nice. So we now have a well-organized project. Anyway, let's continue. Probably we need to adjust the sun, but let's first place the cinema camera actors so we can have the proper look at this one. So the proper position. Oh, well, we'll probably need to adjust this one here. And anyways, we don't see this massive boulder. Probably we don't need to actually have it just like deleted completely. Okay, let's move car a little bit further, like this. And that for me, from the position, looks good. In the camera, set focus point to our car. And let's adjust exposure. And put there some HDRI from the ones which we already downloaded. I think this one is good. Apply that one. And also I want those like nice clouds to be reflected, so I'll put them also in skylight. Pick the specified cube map, add the HDRI here, and increase it to 1024 to get this nice, really high quality reflections. Look at this difference, right? Maybe even 512 will be fine, but that will eat a little bit of your GPU memory, so be careful about that one. Okay, so first of all, what I would like to do here is just to increase the length of our tunnel. So let's make it like bigger, almost infinite. Place it there. Let's have a look. Much better. and increase our floor here too, so it will go somewhere. Looks cool. Now stop the exposure, so I'll prefer that to do in post-processing volume. Manual 5, 6, 7, probably 8 or 9 or 8.5, probably 9. Let's also see the depth of field and change our engine scalability to cinematic. That will increase the quality of like the shadows and parts, but that will also affect your performance because all of the effects will be higher quality, like motion blur, depth of field, and so on. The next thing we need to do is to replace like our plain white texture with something else. I have also downloaded from the Megascans the surface, which was like, let's pick material instance. It was some like wall plaster. This one, I think. Probably not sure. Oh yeah, rough concrete. Yeah, this one, the concrete one. Okay, so I can pick this concrete and apply that to all of my actors here. Let me get out of the camera. So I'll just pick all of the actors, not this one, and apply this material to everything. So it will have this bump map, this 3D feeling, those concrete and stuff. So it looks really more impressive and more realistic. In terms of lighting, there is like a little bit of difference in the light position. So I think I can go like that. Like this probably. That's, I think, really matches the color. Let's see. And it became a little bit darker, but that's not a problem. We still have excessive contrast. Here on the car, it's too white, and we can go with a contrast scale, by the way. First of all, in our camera, let's change the aperture to something like 1.8 or maybe 2. And here, let's do this in camera. Go with a highlight contrast scale and shadow contrast scale to check what we can do. With the highlight contrast scale, I really like to add, some details because it should not be that really high contrast look. Because here you can see the blacks are even a little bit washed out. If you compare this level of black here, it's a little bit washed out. Now there is a little bit of change of temperature and color, but we will do that too. But first let's set up our exposure settings, so we will have some proper light in the highlights and in the shadows. So in our camera highlight contrast scale, we can down that a little bit, and also the shadow contrast scale. So we will have more details there on the right side, making this HDR looking pretty sick. Right now, the color of our like stone or like shrubs or whatever it is of cliffs, it's not matching quite with our reference. And our reference is a little bit more reddish. So let's go into our material and add some albedo tint and make it a little bit more red. Just a little bit will be enough. Something like this, yes. And just copy this value, hit OK, save, and do the same for the rest of those assets. So we'll have a proper color, and it will be matching with all the models which we have in the scene. Like this, okay, save. Let's get out of the camera. This one too. Albedo, change the color, apply, save. I think we did that for all of our assets. Yes, looking better, but what you can also notice, like I have really white light, and here it's a little bit warmer. Again, that can be fixed by adding the atmosphere. So if we go with the visual effects and add sky atmosphere, we'll get this more yellowish look, right? But it's too warm and we would need to adjust it a little bit. So in post-process volume, as I said, I rarely use white balance, but in this case, I think we can do that. So let's tint it a little bit towards greenish looks, because as you can see, there's like some more greens, even in the whites, you can see some greens, and make it a little bit colder and greenish like that. So we have this tint on our concrete here. We have really nice, almost like matching colors. Still, we have more contrast. Our blacks are much darker, but to be honest, that can be easily changed on the color grading stage. So I would probably not be going for that right now. And I think this result is pretty good, but let's increase it even more. Windows, let's create another viewport number 2, and put it into our camera and duplicate this thing and put it on the front of our camera, so we can block our like ugly concrete which we made, like concrete blocks. So we can move it probably like this. So again, as you are in charge of the frame, it doesn't matter what you are showing or what you are not showing to the viewer. That is the beauty of of using Unreal for cinematics. Let's move it like that, like this, and let's increase the size. I just think when it's a little bit bigger, it should be working better. Like this, and let's just duplicate this one and move it here. So to increase the fidelity, obviously you'd probably need better model, but you can browse through different models which you have in the package. So you can pick other like in the Quixel bridge, so you can just pick other static mesh which is more detailed, like sandstone, rocky ground, probably this one. Just give it a little bit more of details, and as they blend in really nicely, if we obviously add also the albedo tint for all of those materials. So we add it here, albedo tint, double click that, add albedo, and it will change the color, so it will blend in. And there is another rocky ground which is like even more detailed. Let's see how it looks in our camera. We can probably add it here to give it like just a little bit more details. You can rotate it. Let's see what looks best. I think this one, like that. Yeah, see, it's getting better and better. You can also scatter some rocks, maybe using some scatter plugins, which are available for free. But for this one, we will just not gonna waste your time. Just add some details here and there, just little by little. Now this one here again, we'll just duplicate that one and rotate it a tiny bit. Let's open our viewport. So see, just gives this much higher level of details, as I mentioned before. Maybe I'm gonna go with this one, this part. Oh yeah, like this. Looks much better. Because this one is a little bit further, we don't see that much, but this one really nice. Blends in really nicely. And the final touch on that, I had the 3D plant, which we can place there. I'm just picking this one, I think it looks good. Okay, cool. No, I'm just not enough, right? Maybe, oh yeah, this one is much more bushy. Okay, cool. So some sort of like that. Probably I just want to get rid of this one, so I'll just add more rocks here. Just place it like this. Yeah. Not spectacular, but that works. Just final adjustment for white balance. Maybe a little bit more greenish. Personally, I don't like the atmosphere. Probably I will go with the post-process volume, temperature, and tint settings. So a little bit warmer, like this. And with the highlights, I need to increase the source angle and soft angle for our sun and maybe decrease its intensity. So we don't ruin our car paint, because when it's like completely white and at this high value of intensity, it just like destroys that one. So 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7. Yeah, something like that. Missed a little bit. Over green. Got too much green in the white balance. Speed that up a little bit. Probably like that. Well, close enough, close enough. Maybe the color of the car is just different. I don't want it standing on this line. And basically you can just simply animate it, like, driving and stopping here, or like driving by. Oh, just like final touch. Let's add the point light and place it way over there. See how that looks. Oh, like this. I think it is perfect for this quick time I've spent for creating this location. It's really easy to do, but it may be easy because I did it like multiple times. Just take your time, explore, try more and more. Just try creating something or recreating the shots which you already seen, just in order to get more experience. It will come in time to create something fast and efficient, but as I just showed you, you can get really high level of fidelity by just using Megascan assets. Now a small tip and fix. If you are going to use Path Tracer or Ray Tracer, so if I go right now to project settings and use ray traced shadows, because right now we don't have any ray tracing, you will see that all of our night geometry just, messed up. It looks terrible, and it will look even worse in path tracing. What most of the people suggest, if you go to this model and you have there's fallback error, you need just to set up the fallback target to fallback error, set the fallback error to 0. That doesn't work. If you have thousands of assets in the level, that's just it ain't gonna work. It's too much time consuming thing. What do you need to do to get rid of that if you are using ray traced shadows? Because, well, I consider them better working. You just use this console variable, R ray tracing nanite mode 1, and everything is fixed. You don't need to worry about ray tracing or path tracing. Everything will look nice and clean with ray traced shadows, without ray traced shadows. So if I disable right now ray traced shadows, let's move it a little bit to the side. You see they're just they're just a little bit better. I just find them more properly with the contrast. They just more accurate, and that's it. But what I'm trying to tell is just use the console variables if you're using a path tracer or ray trace shadows, or if you use combination of these settings. So just to be sure that everything works properly, please just consider that. And actually there is no much difference between path tracer and lumen. So yeah, it is just that easy. You need to get experience. Just invest your time, work with that, and it will be just like as easy as that, even with more complex locations.